Good morning, class 12. So in this module we are going to start with the chapter The Rattrap by Selma Lagerlöf. Introduction. The Rattrap is a story that gives us a psychology insight into human nature. The author highlights how greed for material things entraps human beings. The story unfolds the belief that the essential goodness of a human being can be awakened through love and understanding. It brings into focus the idea that the world is a rat trap. Riches, joys, shelter and food are also lucrative baits to trap mankind. Theme. The chapter The Rat Trap covers the theme of the basic human need for companionship and shows the negative effects of loneliness. The story stresses on the fact that most human beings are prone to fall into the trap of material benefits. The author targets the materialistic approach of the people. The worldly riches have disillusioned them and they are running after the things which are temporary. Let's have a look on the main characters of the story. First is Adler. He is the protagonist and central character of the story. He is an unnamed man who lives as a tramp wandering the countryside and selling rat traps. As he does not make enough money from this to survive, the rat trap peddler also engaged in petty thievery and begging. The other character is Adler. Adler is the daughter of the Iron Master. She is described as not at all pretty. It's a mistake here, it's not he, it's a she, it's a girl. She is described as not at all pretty but modest and quite shy. She is exceptionally kind. She convinces the peddler to come to her house and then convinces her father to let the peddler stay for Christmas Eve. She is the most positive figure in the story, and her compassion and generosity are the reasons for peddler's transformation. Next is Iron Master. Iron Master is Adler Wilmanson's father and the man who owns Ramsjo Iron Works. He is a very prominent Iron Master. He steps by at his forge every day and night to watch the work and inspects the quality of his products. In his younger days, he was in the military, so he mistakes the peddler for his old regimental comrade, Captain von Stade. Crofter. This is an old man who lets the peddler spend the night at his house. As the old man is lonely, he is glad to have a company and provides the peddler with food, tobacco, and conversation. He is very kind and generous old man, but the peddler repays his generosity by stealing 30 kronas from him. So this is the main characters of the story.
Here is a summary of the story, The Rat Trap. Once there was a tramp who made and sold small wire rat traps. Selling rat traps, however, was not profitable, and so he also stole to have enough to eat and stay alive. One day, a thought crossed his mind that the world was little more than a bait set to draw people to their own destruction. The tramp, who had always been ill-treated by the world, found great amusement in this thought. One evening, the tramp knocked on the door of a little cottage, hoping for a chance to rest for the night. The lonely crofter who lived there welcomed the tramp, offering him a hot meal and tobacco. They spent the evening talking and playing mullis, a card game. The crofter confided in the tramp about how he earned money and where he kept it. The next morning, the tramp and the crofter left the house together. The tramp bid farewell and went his way, only to return half an hour later. He smashed a window pane and stole the crofter's money. Smug and with his pocket full of money, the tramp decided to walk through the forest to avoid being caught. His joy, however, was short-lived as he got lost in the forest. As he wandered in the forest, looking for a way out, he realized that he too had allowed himself to be fooled by bait. Darkness fell, and the tramp sank to the ground in despair. Just then, he heard the sound of hammer strokes from a nearby iron mill and stumbled in the direction of the sound. He reached Ramseo Iron Works and asked the master smith for a night's shelter. The blacksmith, used to such requests, nodded his agreement after a casual and indifferent glance at the tramp. Later that night, the owner of the mill, the iron master, arrived at the factory for his nightly inspection. He mistook the tramp for an old acquaintance from the army. The tramp, hoping to extract some cash from the iron master, thought it wise not to reveal his true identity. Things, though, got somewhat unpleasant for the tramp, as the iron master insisted on taking him home, which the tramp flatly refused. The iron master gave in then, but sent his daughter, Adler, to persuade the tramp. Adler's friendly manner caused the tramp to change his mind, and he went with her. At the house, the tramp was given a haircut, shave, bath, and a pair of freshly pressed clothes. The iron master looked at the clean tramp and realized his mistake. He wanted to call the sheriff, but finally refrained from it after the tramp convinced him that the world is a rat trap, and the iron master himself might one day get ensnared in the trap. The iron master, though amused, asked the tramp to leave at once. However, Adler convinced her father to let the poor tramp spend Christmas with them. The tramp spent Christmas Eve doing little else other than eating and sleeping. The next day at church, the ironmaster and Adler came to know that the tramp had stolen 30 kroner from the poor crofter. Fearing the worst, father and daughter returned home, only to find the tramp gone. He had left a rat trap and a letter for the girl. In the rat trap were the 3 10-kroner notes of the crofter. In the note, the tramp expressed his desire to reciprocate Adler's kindness and asked her to return the money to the poor crofter. He also said that the rat trap was a Christmas present for her. Because she treated him as if he were a real captain, he was able to escape the world's rat trap.